Same way you work in corporate America, you are a heterosexual black man. Majority of black men who work around black women in corporate America are not heterosexual. Most times black men are doing hard skilled labor jobs. So I'm talking about in majority, even though I know you're saying in majority, I think you're speaking to proximity. Because when you look at the numbers and you look at what actually happens, black women have become the most highest business entrepreneurs. We have essentially in mass, majority of us are leaving the actual corporate America. We have found another way in order to gain money. And that's due to these other exponential reasons that Casey was speaking about earlier. Like, hey, I don't really want to listen to nobody. I don't want to work for this is the mentality. So you can't avoid the mentality when we're influencing each other. A lot of black women are saying, I do not want to work for anybody. I want to be my own boss. I don't want to work. My idea of a real life is not working. I want to do what I want to do, which is why we've seen such an influx of black women being entrepreneurs. But when we have this comparison of we go to work and we respect our job, the incentive is money. A lot of women are not moved by the money at the job that requires them to work hard. But even with us getting the degrees, a lot of people are leaving their jobs. This is the generation that has the highest level of turnovers. Women have more higher employment than men, and we still show up lesser to work than men. You cannot negate none of what I'm saying just because you don't like the idea. The facts are right there.
No, hey, one more. I'm not speaking to. Hold on. I'm not speaking to proximity. I'm not speaking to proximity because although the job that I would do, 95% of women don't do. Understood. We have directors, we have supervisors, we have several chains of management, and there's a lot of black women in there that's been getting theirs and that's been moving up in the ranks. And that's not just my company. From what I do, I get to interact with other companies, is what I'm telling you. All types of businesses, right? From filthy rich to the filthy. So what I'm saying is it's not just here. It's everywhere. It's not like you're making it seem. It's not that bad. Black women get theirs, I'm trying to tell you. And it's not just entrepreneurship. They're in the corporate America. They're in the workplace. And this is understood that most women definitely are taking the jobs that are more social, right? But that's a corporate setting. They're not going to be outside with it like I do, but they're definitely in a corporate setting, and that's how they're going to behave. They're going to get this. Like, when you're looking at the average span of a woman's career, they're getting it. Then you're not going to make it that long by being a complete bum. You're going to get away with not coming in for a little while. You're going to get away with coming late for a little while. But you can't maintain a career and get 10 years, 20 years like I'm watching them do. Being a bum. What's up? What's up?
One, the numbers don't even back that up. But two,
what's the numbers saying then? Bring them out.
Majority of black folks ain't making that kind of money, bro. But that's neither here nor there.
Bring them out. What numbers you talking about? Bring them out.
What's the numbers?
Hey, Travis,
what's the numbers? Bring them out. Bring them out.
All right. As far as income is concerned, the average black woman makes roughly $42,000 a year. The average black man makes roughly $48,000 a year. They're not in corporate America.
That's not a grave disparity.
I'm not saying that it is. I didn't say that they wasn't doing great in comparison to men.
Money that you're talking about.
They're comparing that to all nationalities, though. Like you got white, Asian, and all that other stuff that's in that.
Even further, so now I worked for let's see, at least 4 or 5 different call centers.
Oh, really?
Worked for Navient, student loan people. Worked for Apple. I worked for Verizon. I worked for Life Touch. And I can tell you right now, that place was the most empty I've ever seen it around one specific time of the year, tax season. Motherfuckers was gone.
Did they all lose their job?
No, I'm gonna tell you the reason why though. And I'm gonna tell you this. The reason why was because most call centers go off of a occurrence type schedule, right? So what people would do is they would work a lot of overtime for 1 week just so they can get 3 or 4 days off, and then like come tax season they would rack up 4 or 5 occurrences in a row, and then come back and start trying to work overtime to gain those occurrences back. So like, I'm not sitting here saying that women ain't, that black women are the most lazy group on the planet. I'm not gonna say that, but I will say this though. we are not getting it like we claim we are. We are average ass people making average ass money. We ain't doing all this.
And that's not. We're not talking about income.
But at the same time,
we're not talking about income.
I want to give one
we're
stat.
talking about discipline.
I want to give one stat. One stat. I just want to give one stat.
Go ahead, bro.
I promise one stat. Did y'all know? I didn't even realize this, that black women make up 28% of the enlisted percentage of black men and women. They make 28% of the military. Black men make up 16%. There's almost over 12% of black women are in the military more than black men. It's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Black men are the highest unemployed demographic, but what Sweeney is saying is essentially what I'm speaking to. When we have this conversation, this is why I say there is a myth that black women respect their boss, because most of the time we're finessing the system. We take off more. It is in the numbers that we take off more. We utilize PTO more. We use our benefits more for whatever reason. And then that adds to the fact of us having the most children as opposed to the men. Women get the benefit of having more time off and a lot of leniency with their jobs. And I say corporate America as a regular 9 to 5. That's what I mean. A regular 9 to 5 is corporate America. So I'm not just talking call centers. You can even consider Walmart corporate America based off of the hierarchy of you in it, whether you're the person who is a manager or whether you're actually working district and you sit in the office or HR. That would be classified as corporate America. So when we have this idea, nobody's saying black women are lazy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we know the art of finesse. I have worked around a lot of black women. A lot of black women will tell you working with other black women, it's like the worst thing in the world because we have domineering behavior the same way y'all see us integrate into society with the men dating this, that, and the third. We're dealing with that every single day, dealing with them firsthand, working under their leadership. And then it's so crazy because a lot of people would tell you, well, how can she tell me how to do my job and she barely come and do hers? We sit here and we listen to all these things regurgitated online. It is absolutely not the truth. You can sit with a black woman, she will tell you she lost her friend for a man. But if you talk to her about a job, first thing she's going to say is, fuck that job. They'll replace me in a minute. So the idea that we sitting here trying to make it seem like we pride all listening to white men, no, we don't. We feel the same way about them. Run that check.
That's what they say prepare the others, right?
See, the only thing I'll say about that is Ali was the only one who brought some numbers up here for something that we could actually address in it, right? He brought up the numbers about the military. But I want to ask you, how much finessing do you think that they could get off in the military? And how much do you think that they could not understand the hierarchy and get away with at that particular job?
The military is something totally different. I don't even count the military. But when he mentioned the military, he was basically saying like it's more women enlisted, but it's more women enlisted because black men have the highest unemployment group. If you look into something so simple as tech, black women do not outnumber anybody in tech. It's primarily dominated by Asians and Indians, and then black
STEM in general. STEM in general, yeah.
Period, right? And that's one of the most highest forms of payment. But what I'm saying is we love to talk this big dollar shit. Black women do not make more than black men. Black women only make more than Hispanic men and Asian women and Hispanic women. And then when we sitting here talking about the respect factor, it does not show up in our job. We have a lot of black women who will go to work as a need to basis. I need to keep this job, so I'm gonna show up as long as I can and beat the system and make it look good for X amount of time. But if I need to take off, a lot of mentality is my child comes first. They'll figure somebody out. PTO, prepare the others. We live by this. When they see all of these women in an influx of the business ownership, you know who was running them credit schemes? And you know who was putting on everybody selling them ebooks? It was black women in the surplus of the pandemic. We mitigated a lot of them funds, and that's how we became the biggest business owners. We don't want to work for nobody. So y'all got to stop this lie that we sitting up here taking all of this information from them bosses. Because let me tell you something. If we was actually doing what we were supposed to do in them jobs, a lot of these small businesses and entrepreneurs would be flourishing. They bad at customer service all the way around. It does not exist with the respect. It's not there. It's a myth.